Welcome back to the channel. Admirers, please sit down and take a deep breath and get ready. Considering what we recently saw in the desert in California is nothing short of an earthquake. Unquestionably, the world of tennis has experienced an earthquake. A wave of shock that has echoed from Indian Wells' sun-drenched stadiums all the way to Kazakhstan's steppes and Manila's crowded streets. If you believed you understood how the BNP Paribas this was what the Bali Open was supposed to happen. If the script seemed to be written for the top seeds previously, you were completely and utterly incorrect. We just saw one of the most enormous, astounding, and completely events that defy logic in recent women's history of the Tennis Association. The heading of the video from today tells it all, but speaking the words out still seems unreal. Kazakhstan as a whole is in complete astonishment. The third-ranked person in the world, the frigid Elena Rybakina, the apparently unbeatable Indian Wells champion in 2023. The female they began the year by winning the Australian Open has been eliminated. Additionally, she wasn't only assaulted by a past grand or a fellow top 10 veteran slam champion experiencing a comeback. She has disassembled, outlived, and the 20-year-old Filipina outperformed Alex Eala is a phenomenon. Let it sink in for a second. The emerging star Alex Eala who just made it to the top 31st in the global rankings. A participant who's been making consistent, noteworthy progress on the trip, but was nonetheless regarded as an enormous underdog in contrast to the sheer basic firepower. Rybakina has just accomplished the unimaginable. This wasn't expected to occur. The odds makers didn't foresee it. The commentators in the not even commentary booths foresaw it. I most definitely didn't anticipate it. And I'm not sure did anybody see this at Elena Rybakina's camp? A hurricane is on its way. Rybakina showed up in California has the kind of shape that frightens adversaries before they even enter the court. We are speaking about a player who wasn't only pursuing beat. She was giving it a definition. Her service has been a deadly weapon, a rocket that has rescued her and cannot be returned out of whatever difficulties she may encounter herself in. Her level, piercing terrain the strokes are specifically designed for dictating play, and her most recent Melbourne victory solidified her reputation as the ultimate gold the current level of women's tennis. In addition to Sway 8 and Sabalenka, she was the overwhelming favorite. She may be moved. Object. However, now, underneath the obvious sun of tennis paradise, the desert an immobile object encountered an unstoppable willpower. Ella Alexander stepped into that court without a distinction in a youthful rival, but with a chilly, thoughtful performance of an experienced murderer. We've been monitoring for years Eala's gradual rise. We caught sight of her genius in the younger generation. We caught sight of her. She grinds her way through the circuit of the ITF. We saw her amazing run at the Miami last year. It was open where she removed giants. And we saw her amazing gritty Middle Eastern performances swing a few weeks before, fighting returning from Abu's unachievable losses Dhabi and alerting the global community in Dubai. We were aware of her goodness. We were aware of her had a heart. However, this performance she is now elevated from a potential possibility to a real giant killer, a reputable candidate who is able to see across the net at number 3 in the world and don't blink. The response to this, the contest has been immediate and explosive. In the country of Kazakhstan, which has centered its athletic identity upon the stoic domination of Rybakina, the media is in a state of utter shock. Already, headlines are predicting a catastrophe. Wondering what went wrong in the desert incorrect, examining each missed first serve as well as each unusual forehand mistake. A national hero, Rybakina is an emblem of superior athletic ability for Kazakhstan. And seeing her leave this early, to a participant who is not in the top 30 is a hard pill to take. The forums are collapsing. The analysts they're scratching their minds. How a guy who may have the greatest serve in the match is lost in the women's game. On a firm surface. On the other hand, the Philippines' joyous outburst is anything to observe. Ella is more than simply a tennis player to her nation. She's a pioneer, a ray of hope, and a great source of pride for the country. Each and every when she enters the court, she bears weight in the anticipation of Filipinos who wake up in their millions at insane hours to watch her games live. Today, she presented them with a work of art. She provided them with a show that will be discussed for many years. The dirt, the resiliency, the tactical she used her intelligence to counteract the power of Rybakina. It was nothing less than renowned. This triumph wasn't a stroke of luck. This Rybakina didn't simply hand it in. Double faults throughout the match. Eala walked outside and grabbed it. She took in the speed. The rallies were prolonged by her. She made Rybakina hit an additional ball, 3 more balls, 2 more balls, till anger erupted and the mistakes sneaked in. To fully comprehend the severity of this distress, you ought comprehend the BNP Paribas background. The ball is open. Indian Wells is often referred to as there is a reason it is the 5th Grand Slam. The stakes are high, the field is deep, and the circumstances are infamously challenging. It's dry outside. The sphere flies to the mood of the desert, yet the surface is quite rough and slow. It makes the bounce high. It need consistent power. You are unable to simply blast your way past your opponents. Without a deep amount of control here and tactical subtlety. The game of Rybakina based on flat, forceful blows and typically early ball striking flourishes when she is exuding such confidence that her to overcome the challenging circumstances. And she showed up with such assurance. However, Eala skillfully used those precise circumstances that are against her. An early realization if she attempted to match Rybakina's power, the court would blast her away. She transformed the contest into a mental and physical marathon. She made use of the bouncing courts to her are sluggish and high. Benefit, deep looping heavy top spin towards the corners, shoving Rybakina aside, preventing her from going inside the baseline and make her own decisions. Phrases. This game was an excellent example of disturbance. It served as evidence of the tennis's ability to be played with a commotion. It is performed in between the ears. It's a psychological combat game, of changes in velocity, of minute imperceptible changes that change the course of a conflict. Eala gazed at the peak that was the mountain Elena Rybakina, which had destroyed a lot of other people this season, and she methodically took it apart rock by rock. She demonstrated that speed to the globe. Defense, adaptability in tactics, and in raw, unwavering spirit may overcome pure power. The beauty is this. Of our sport. We monitor for this reason. Due to the fact that every Sunday, or in this example, a gorgeous afternoon in the script, may be ripped from California to a new star and shreds may write their own history in a daring, memorable way. Letters. What precisely did she do, then? How did a Manila-based 20-year-old overthrow the current monarch of the Australian Open? Let's go on to the in-depth analysis and dissection of this ultimate tennis match classic, set by set, game by game, and strategy by strategy. We must begin by examining the mood prior to a single ball being even was hit. The stadium was completely crammed and humming with that distinct Indian Wells power. The sun was hammering on you. Down, the darkness steadily encroaching on the court and a clear separation in the assembly. One side of it was the purists of tennis anticipating a clinical, simple master lesson from the number 3 in the world. Conversely, an very outspoken, fervent group of waving Filipino supporters shouting, carrying an electric flag, an environment akin to the Davis Cup for a second-round WTA competition. This is what Eala thrives on. Vitality. She consumes it. It is visible to you. During the coin toss, in her eyes. Although Rybakina remained frigid as usual. Manner seemed somewhat bored with the actions, a glance that often spells disaster for her rivals. Eala was bouncing. Alert, focused, and poised on her toes. The opening set started out precisely as the forecasters made predictions. Rybakina emerged providing whole explosives. We are speaking. First serves often clocking in hitting the bends with the high teens precise accuracy. Eala could hardly get in the first 2, her racket was on the ball. Games of service. Rybakina held on to taking fewer than 90 seconds to show affection effortlessly complete her games. As soon as Elena Rybakina was aged 3 when she was served. Feet inside the baseline in order to capture the early second serve, completely smashing reappears later on. In an instant, in a split second, Rybakina had obtained a double break and was in the pursuit of love. For anyone seeing, it seemed to be an impending slaughter. It seemed as though Eala was really taken aback by the event and the overwhelming burden of Rybakina's shot. The pundits were already discussing Rybakina's potential face in the next round. However, this is place we must discuss Alexandra Eala's strength of mind. A less skilled player, a less seasoned, younger player might have folded all the way. They would have rejected the set, took the bagel, and wanted to get back together in the second. not a log down 4 times. She remained calm. She didn't begin striking too hard. Rather, she inhaled deeply and turned to face her player's box, gave a nod, and started working. She began to drastically alter her point of return. Rather of attempting to maintain the baseline in opposition to Rybakina's first serve, Eala stepped way back, almost into the scrub of the California desert, granting herself an additional portion of reading the trajectory for a second and just returned the ball to play. It wasn't about hitting a winner on a clean return. It was just getting the idea across. And as soon as the point began, an outstanding tactical change. She became aware of that Rybakina is a speed freak. Rybakina provides food on flat, hard balls. She makes use of the opponent's speed in order to change her own terrible picks. Eala ceased to provide her speed. She began striking hard, looping top spin balls that bounce high deep inside the court's middle on the sluggish surface of an Indian well. These spheres from Rybakina's ideal, he sat up high. Zone of strike. Rybakina was compelled to produce all of her own speed off of high balls. Began to seem uneasy. Her timing that had been perfect for the first 4 games started to fall apart. She began long spraying forehands. She netted backhands. Eala succeeded in breaking, returning after retaining her own serve with tough, exhausting baseline rallies that make 4-2. Eventually, Rybakina closed out 6-3 in the first set, but the momentum had clearly changed. Blood had been extracted by Eala. She had shown her ability to persevere. The demonstrations. She had sown a seed that uncertainty in the globe number 3. As we go to the second set, that a doubtful seed grew into a complete catastrophe for the Kazakh celebrity. Eala came out in full force. She had entirely unlocked the beat of Rybakina. Eala's the footwork in this set was excellent. Of captivating. She was providing coverage for the court in anticipation, like a shadow the aggressive future of Rybakina before Rybakina ever made contact with the ball. Eala started using the drop shot. With terrible efficiency. Rybakina is a tall, very strong woman. Player, but her stride ahead. Her shift between the baseline and the net is maybe the only minor weakness. In her otherwise perfect game, Eala ruthlessly expose it. She would shove deep in the rear corner, Bakina with that strong spin at the top. And the time the anchor behind the baseline was Rybakina. Eala would play a beautiful backhand. The slice drop went over the net flawlessly. Rybakina had to run, lunge, and continually move her enormous frame both forward and backward. The heat of the desert paired with his vicious physical interrogation began to wear the Wimbledon champion is defeated. Eala broke. Rybakina to rise early in the second set 3-1. The throng had completely dissipated. Of their thoughts. Each point I scored was confronted by thunderous roars. To Rybakina, her credit, attempted to put out the fire with flames. Even so, she attempted to strike the ball. More forcefully, attempting to blast her way out of the strategic trap was in place. However, the more she struck, the more I took in. Squash shots that are defensive. Her capacity to extend into a complete separation and somehow stop a forehand at 100 miles per hour. Back in the court's depths was discouraging. Rybakina's inadvertent mistake count soared. Her initial serve the proportion fell. She seems hurried, frustrated and, most importantly, without answers. Eala served well in the second set. Standing at 6 feet 4 inches. We had a decision about our hands, and the stadium's energy was its crackling. The third set was an attrition war. It was among the best sets of tennis that we have observed throughout the year. Both players were well aware of what was at stake. Rybakina made a medical time off the court prior to the third set. Try to mentally reset herself. And physiologically, maybe making an effort to ice the fiery Filipino woman. Upon her return, she seemed revitalized. She located her first serve once again. The first 6 games went just with serve. Neither participant allowing 1 inch. 3 all, 30 deuce adds in, adds out, and then the game. It was oppressively tense. Each and every one rally seemed to carry the weight of the whole competition depending on it. The pivotal moment for everyone was serving. Rybakina struck 3 in a row. Return winners. Only complete lasers at lines were drawn to create a triple breakpoint love 40. It was this. This was the time when the third-ranked was meant to demonstrate her might, put an end to the startup mentality and serve out the game. The stadium became quiet. However, Alexandra Eala's veins are icy. Created her life's service game. A strong kick is served out wide first at Rybakina jumped into the bleachers. 15-40. After that, a taxing 25-shot rally in which Eala rejected a miss, ultimately requiring a Rybakina had a backhand mistake. 30-40. On Eala performed the third breakpoint. Unimaginable. She volunteered and served. Versus a top returner in the world. On the third breakpoint down set, Eala served out wide with a slice and put away a Chris, charging a net the forehand volley. Deuce. The throng burst forth. Rybakina seemed stunned. Eala scored the next 2 points to hold serve, resulting in a 5-4 score. That's true, Rybakina broke. The air was visible. Abandoned her tires in order to remain in the 45 minutes into the contest. The pressure was completely on the shoulders of the Kazakh. Eala, feeling blood in the river, performed a perfect return game. Rybakina was assaulted by her. Viciously taking the second serve, hitting the ball deep and the baseline at the center, depriving Rybakina of any angle. Double match point at 15-40 for the Filipino. The ensuing rally summarized the whole game. Rybakina struck a huge forehand that was inside out. A shot that would win hands down. In contrast to 99% of tourers. Eala fumbled, skidded on the rough hard court and hurled up a huge lob of defense. The sphere hovered in the air of the desert for what seemed like forever. Rybakina allowed it to bounce. Prepared for a high put away in the forehand, and amazingly, it was netted. The game set match. Eala Alexander. The instant the ball struck, Eala dropped her racket into the net and felt her knees, and buried her face in her hands. The stadium blew up. It was a thunderclap. It was a blend shock that is pure and unadulterated from the neutral admirers and utter bliss from the supporters from the Philippines. Rybakina swiftly traversed the net, provided a brief, courteous greeting, and practically ran off the court, obviously enraged. With the way she performed, but she couldn't the genius of what had just transpired to her. Examining the post-game figures, the narrative is extremely evident. Rybakina continued to hit winners. Indeed, in addition to hitting 12 aces, she also hit 54 spontaneous mistakes. A huge outlier for a player of her quality. Eala, however, played a very tidy game. Striking 22 winners compared to only 18 unforced mistakes. Eala received an incredible 58% of Rybakina's second serve scored the points. She eliminated one of the game's greatest weapons. And made it a liability instead. This a win will raise Eala's ranking. Soaring. She went into this tournament at number 31, a career high. However, after obtaining the significant points that accompany a third-round appearance at a WDA 1000 gathering and removing a she is hammering hard on the top 3 seeds. On the top 20's door. However, more than in terms of ranking points, this would provide an huge confidence boost. Eala now understands, and more significantly, everyone else in the locker room is aware of that she is capable of defeating the greatest in the globe on the largest stages. She isn't no longer only a risky floater in the draw. She poses a real risk of winning these enormous titles. Regarding Elena, this is a difficult and unpleasant situation, Rybakina. Setback. She had so much on her shoulders. Momentum, a great deal of shape, and to be stumbled this early in a competition, she will need some serious contemplation. She needs to determine what occurred to her forehand when she was under duress. Today, she must determine why she was unable to adjust when her plan A was gone away. She will definitely recover. She is too skilled, too polished, too gifted not to. However, this loss reveals a strategy for defeating her. If you are able to endure a first assault, if you are able to change the height and speed of the ball, and if it's possible to get her to arduous, muscular competition, the ice it is possible to melt the queen. The remainder of the tour was undoubtedly taking notes. As we conclude this very in-depth analysis, I can't stop shaking my head in amazement of what we saw. For this reason, we devote a great deal of time to this sport. For this reason, we examine the ranks, the pairings and the draws. Due to underneath all of the figures and the fundamentally, tennis is a very human activity. Effort based solely on willpower and the unadulterated, erratic feeling of the athletes on the court. Ella Alexander, not only did you defeat Elena Rybakina today, she wrote a fresh chapter in the Philippine sports history. She demonstrated that there is no mountain too high, the opponent is too frightening, and lacks deficiency cannot be overcome if you have the bravery to continue battling. Presently, the issue then becomes, how far Alexandra Ella participate in this competition? The attraction is totally made room for her. The her quarters players will be watching at this outcome and experiencing a mixture of relief without having to deal with Rybakina and utter fear at the possibility of confronting the fiery Filipina who just defeated her. Ella is moving forward. She has the game and the fans. The possibilities are endless. She must to recuperate physically. That was a vicious almost 3 hours of running, but adrenaline is a strong entity. If she is able to keep this degree of tactical discipline, and there's no justification for defensive genius, she can't go all the way to the deep historic run. The route to the last weekend in Wells in India. Regarding Rybakina, the route leads to Miami. She'll have some weeks to recuperate, relax, and adjust prior to the Sunshine's second half twice. Last year, she was a finalist in Miami. And she'll be really driven to demonstrate that today was just a regrettable slip-up on the radar. There will be a lot of pressure, but champions are shaped by their reactions to hardship. I would want to hear from each and every you are all seeing this. What have you considered this huge upset? Did you even anticipate this? Second, what was the pivotal moment in the right fit for you? Do you believe Alexandra Ella is capable of winning the BNP Paribas Open as a whole? Furthermore, what does Elena Rybakina need to make any corrections? Does she enter the Miami courts? Enter the comment area at this moment and make your opinion known. The argument is going to be intense, and I am eager for it. To peruse your analysis. If you had fun this very thorough analysis of among the best games of the year, please press the like button. It reveals the algorithm we're using anything correct and advances this distributing tennis material to a larger audience. Hit that if you haven't already. Click the subscribe button and press the alerting bell to ensure that you don't miss our instant post-match evaluations, our previews of the event, and our in-depth analyses understanding the specific tactical details of the lovely game. We will be examining every aspect of this. The drama of the Indian Wales tournament keeps happening.